Hi, Dr. Maya with BizCrown Media. Happy New Year. Here to cover the 5 consumer truths to get your marketing ready for 2021. And these are coming from Google. These consumer truths, very insightful. Again, you might know Google is the largest search engine in the world where we search for a whole lot of information. So they have a lot of data that could be helpful for business owners, entrepreneurs, marketers, just to accomplish what exactly you want to accomplish. When you have an idea of what consumers want, then you know exactly what to give them. And so we're going to start with the introduction. With the pandemic and social turmoil, creating profound behavioral, economic, and technological shifts, making sense of 2020 might seem a nearly impossible task. Well, Google has looked back at billions of search queries from 2020, as well as consumer behaviors, surveys, and interviews, and landed on 5 key insights to help marketers get ready for 2021 and beyond. And again, if you are looking to start a business, this could be very helpful. If you're a marketer, very helpful. A business owner, very, very helpful to know what shifts you might need to make and what opportunities exist out there. So we'll start the 5 consumer insights to help marketers navigate 2021 and beyond. Or number 1, creating control. Number 2, bargaining for balance. Number 3, cultivating connection. Number 4, curating the home. And number 5, acting on allyship. Now, you look at these or you hear these, and the first thing that comes to mind is, what does that have to do with marketing? What does that have to do with marketing? What does that have to even do with consumer behavior and insights in general? Like, it just doesn't sound like the generic words we've used in the past. And it's because we're on uncertain times. So it shows that we will be dealing with uncertain things and uncertain situations. And therefore, it would have to reflect that in some sort of way. These two will change. We won't be dealing with generic things because we're not in generic times. And so, again, these are the top insights. 1, creating control. 2, bargaining for balance. 3, cultivating connection. 4, curating the home. And 5, acting on allyship. And as we go through them, you'll start to understand exactly why these are key insights that Google is providing and has actually inferred based on what they put out there. So the first one is creating control. Heading into 2021, people still face a world filled with uncertainties. As they navigate through these, they will continue to value signals of reassurance and safety and seek out ways to proactively take control of and improve their lives. How can marketers help consumers not only survive but actually thrive? How can business owners help consumers not only survive but actually thrive? How can entrepreneurs, prospective entrepreneurs, new entrepreneurs, how can they help consumers not only survive, but actually thrive? Those are key words: survival and thriving. And you'd see, based on the searches that we have here that Google's inferring, there's been an 8,000 plus year-over-year search on who has and in stock. People want stuff now. That's control. Fitness apps, 200%. People want to get a grip of themselves. Online learning and improve themselves. Online learning. People want to educate and improve themselves. Career changes are happening. Opportunities are out there. And it's sort of like the time where people want to get it together now. Improve my life. Due to all the external circumstances that are happening out there, I have to make some internal changes to my circumstances too. And as you can see, the phrase here, to keep my peace and start off my day right with everything going on, I decided to start a routine in the morning. As you see here, people are searching for ways to gain control over their immediate environments and items or activities with emotional benefits. Searches that contain work from home, desk, kids' desk, desk for chair, or desk chair, cooking, dinner ideas, how to cook, cooking, home improvement, stores, furniture, TV, new pets, puppy finder, training, puppy names, nature, full moon, nature, Under hobbies, we have Xbox, PlayStation, hobby, knitting. Under camping, tent, camping gear. And as you can see, if you're looking at the graphic we have up here from Google, it goes into two benefits, which is the functional benefit and the emotional benefit, which is typically how consumers are perceived, from a business standpoint to meet their needs, a functional benefit and an emotional one. And we can look at our lives. In my household, there's a section now that's like an office that was even adjusted more to be like that. In cooking, we've gotten a lot of cooking ideas from Pinterest, which is amazing. Home improvement. Made a lot of home improvements. We built the kids' playground in the back of the house, which in turn our neighbors built theirs. So new pets. I've seen people post a whole lot of pictures with new pets that they've gotten over this time. New names for puppies, so that's come along. Nature. The time that we've had alone has given us that time to sort of appreciate nature more. The full moon, look at how we were all excited to see the two planets merge recently. Hobbies, of course, gaming has skyrocketed. We know that. Camping, people, the staycations, people going out there to enjoy the great outdoors. And so these are the things that the searches are containing. And as marketers, business owners, or prospective person, you're looking to meet people, provide people this functional benefit, provide consumers this emotional benefit. Number 2, bargaining for balance. While the desire for a more balanced approach to life predates the pandemic, that need is now more apparent than ever before. People will continue to negotiate with themselves and others to establish boundaries and restore a sense of balance across emotional, physical, and psychological dimensions. So how can marketers help consumers achieve this balancing act? Again, how can prospective entrepreneurs help consumers achieve this balancing act? Help, the operative word. Searches, as you can see, RV rental near, staycation, meditation apps. And when you go here, you'll realize the only thing missing, which Google might not want to put out there, is the spiritual self. Some sort of spiritual balance that we're looking for. And we could see it here, RV rental near me, to just go somewhere, staycation, go somewhere, meditation apps, plus 90% search. And looking at the phrase here, it says, I've been trying to carve time out of each day for myself. I feel more balanced after these experiences. So as a consumer, as somebody who's trying to provide an emotional functional benefit, look at these things to gain more insights. Number 3, cultivating connection. The pandemic has placed constraints on people's ability to establish and maintain relationships in the real world. Because of social distancing measures that have been applied to us and that have been encouraged, I should say, and to stay at home. So people have sought alternative ways to connect, placing renewed focus on those closest to them, both interpersonally and within their communities. And so how can marketers enable consumers to both maintain the quality of their existing relationships while also providing opportunities to create new ones? And this is really interesting because, again, looking at the self, like I said, our neighbor, we built a playground for our kids in the back, and the neighbors built theirs. And the neighbors actually helped us as we helped them. Now, I'll tell you also, I bought a blower to do things around the house, bought a chainsaw, and all these were referred by my neighbor. All these were referred by my neighbor, David, my good friend. So it's interesting because if you want to look at the marketing dynamics of that, David, who happens to be my neighbor, I saw him doing something I was thrilled about. I went to go look, like, wow, how are you doing that? Oh, yeah, I got this from this store. And then I went to the store and got it too. Can you see the connection? What probably would have been sweeter was when I told him that, like, wow, he could have said, hey, you know what? Because you asked me for that now, you can go there and get it for $10 off. So it's sort of like thinking about marketing, not just to the consumer, but to the people around them, knowing that what they're doing is going to touch them. That's pretty interesting. So let's go. Searches with friends online, local plus businesses. Another thing that I would say too is we play games with my family on Zoom. All across, we play games with my family in Europe, over here, a number of times, and it was fun because we want to connect. And we have the tools to do that. And so with friends online, so you've seen an explosion of these apps really fostering it. You've seen Zoom's really enhancing that. You've seen the interactions and, optimizing their sites for that. You've seen the new apps like House Party that emphasize the gamings online and their downloads have skyrocketed, So you look at it here with friends online, plus 300% year over year, local plus businesses, 80% year over year. That's why it's still very important as a local business to optimize, especially if your storefront, so that people know you are there. Watch time in US for YouTube videos with me in the title, plus 200% year over year. The phrase says, it's brought me closer together with my neighbors. That is factually true. With all our neighbors, we're very, very close. I would say that too. As city dwellers, we've helped each other, cut trees. We know more about each other. And not just that, we even know more about our families. That's just the truth. There was a time that during the pandemic, when it all started and we were encouraged to stay at home, we drove in the neighborhood. Everybody on a beautiful day was outside playing with their families. On a day where if we're all busy, if we're all working and stuff, you would barely see that at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a beautiful sight to see. All families outside on the road just having fun, And so that's what this has done. And so activities and things that have encouraged this as a consumer, as a marketer, as an entrepreneur, these are things that you could look at for opportunities to connect with people. So it's brought me closer together with my neighbors. As city dwellers, for so long, we didn't even know who our neighbors were. But now we have realized the importance of that bond. And also, what we've also done is patronize them. We've realized some neighbors do some things that we actually like, or provide some services that we like, and we've patronized them. It's pretty awesome, when you think about it in that light. Number 4, curating the home. The constraints COVID-19 placed on mobility caused many people to make their personal spaces as multifunctional and comfortable as possible. While this inward focus on comfort will likely continue, consumers are also yearning for ways to move beyond their homes and get back into the wider world. How can marketers alleviate this tension? How can business owners alleviate this tension? How can prospective entrepreneurs alleviate this tension? If you're looking to start a business, it's showing you there is tension. When looking to start a business, the value you're providing is to ease tension. And we're being told now that there's tension out there through this. That's quite insightful. So curating the home. Number 1, searches for simple house design and virtual tours. Simple house design, 200% year over year increased. Virtual tour, 500% year over year increased. Watch time in US for YouTube videos with home activities in the title, 120% year over year increased. Optimizing my home, the phrase says, space has helped me feel happy and safe in my home. I feel serene and hopeful and strong mentally. What we kind of realized is when the pandemic hit that the home wasn't really the home because we weren't spending as much time there. The fact that we started spending much more time opened our eyes much more to the needs we needed to make our living environment more homely since we lived there. The same thing happened in sort of in the fashion industry. I noticed when looking at some Pinterest insights, because what the fashion world realized was they didn't have a lot of casual clothes that people could just wear, loungy clothes at home. Most clothes were set to be worn outside, apart from the jammies. So everybody ended up spending time in their jammies because what are you going to do? Wear jeans, a shirt, or what? There just weren't loungy enough clothes. And so what we had to do was optimize, our environment, our spaces. Optimize our spaces. For that, optimize our living experiences. Upgrading our living experience so we can be comfortable. Since we're spending more time in there and across multiple categories, searches with at home have grown 10 times compared to the previous year. Retail, occasional gifts, apparel, dining and nightlife, home and garden, food and groceries, travel and tourism, hobbies and leisure, entertainment, health, beauty and personal care, jobs and education, sport, and fitness. So since last year, searches for to do at home have grown globally, not just in the United States, globally by over 600%. Things to do at home during quarantine, as an example. This lets you know as a business person, again, how to connect as a marketer, what to connect with. As a marketer right now, since to do at home is huge, what can be optimized on your website, on your social and digital platforms to emphasize things that people could do at home that you provide? That's the way to think. As somebody who's looking to start a business, things that people could do at home. And you may wonder, well, why is that? We have the vaccine and this one and that. Well, what's going on is that there's a likelihood that within the next year, we're still going to be mostly at home before we attain herd immunity. And so these things are still likely to stay now. And you will also see that a lot of people have said, first of all, based on the fact that they've adjusted their lives to fitness, to working half from home and all that stuff, a lot of companies have realized now we don't need people to be in the office 5 days a week. So that's not going to change. Maybe it's going to be 2 days a week. A lot of people are going to say, hey, I bought this equipment and I don't need to go to the gym, or I downloaded this app, it's worked for me, or I've changed my routine, and stuff. And so a good example is I used to go to the gym, but of course you can't go to the gym. And then we flipped to yoga, which is such a huge, when you think about it, it's like I never did yoga. And now I'm loving yoga because I'm like, wow, I attain what I want to attain from the gym, if not a little bit more. And so I did cancel my gym membership, questioning actually if I'm going to go back. Now, I do love the sauna, the steam room, and all that stuff. So that might still be a little, but, the whole workout routine. And so, I might just go join a yoga class instead of all that stuff, but who knows? And if it does happen, the likelihood that it happens overnight is quite slim, and so these are the things to consider. These are the things to really consider, because now we are really optimizing our living space and around us. And next one, acting on allyship. In many parts of the world, the pandemic coincided with major social upheaval and the intensifying of movements like Black Lives Matter in the U.S. A need for change has arisen. According to Forrester, 68% of Americans say that a company's social responsibility or reputation influences their purchasing decision. This awareness is not going away and will likely influence brand choices moving forward. Now, looking at this, I just want to make it clear. A need for change has arisen. This is not based on what people are saying. This is based on what people are searching in the comfort of themselves alone, in their own privacy. This is real data. So you might look at this and go, I don't know, no. Just saying, you know, you might not see where the wind's blowing, but you sure can feel, where the tide is. And this is the tide. So this awareness is not going away. It'll likely influence brand choices moving forward. And searches for, can I help? 70% year over year. Inclusion, 100% year over year. Help is a top keyword right now. Help. The word help, the word assistance, those are top keywords from a marketing perspective, from a psychological perspective, based on the times that we're in right now. And, excuse me, I'd like more authentic and holistic approaches from the brands, that's what the phrase says, as well as more transparency. This would really make a difference if we were to have an understanding of the complex environment we live in and how our consumption impacts the world. This is just showing that times have changed. And I get it, like a company might not want to say, hey, I stand up for this, I stand up for that to make that radical change. But even the help, the aligning with a cause as a business that people see out there, these are what is giving people more comfort to do business with you, to sort of like also figure out that are we on the same page? Are we on the same page? And as a business, we have to sort of look at that. So this is a good graphic that sort of explains that, how social causes can influence the purchase journey. And so here's Carl, who's 56 years old, from Tampa, Florida. The journey took 75 days and over 600 touch points. Let's emphasize this from a marketing standpoint. Carl, who is 56, in his purchase journey, 75 days in doing his research, and the touch points were over 600 touch points. That just lets you know the decision-making process has become a little bit more complicated and takes a little bit more time. Over 606 touch points, that's a lot. Years ago, we're talking to make an effective stuff, you needed maybe how many touch points? And so out of those 600 touch points, you as a business are wondering, how many touch points are mine? The likelihood that if you're 400 touch points out of this 600, the conversion's probably going to come to you. How do you get that? The interaction, the content you provide, everything at the end of the day boils down to that. So let's look at this, how social causes over 600 touch points. So he searches for a Polo Crew, the retail brand A, apparel brand A, plus t-shirts, and searches men's retailers give back to the community, apparel brand B. That's the next search. What stores recycle clothing? Retailer brand B site, Straight Fit. And then apparel brand C supports a single cause. That's what comes out. B, Straight Fit. C, supports a cause. Is apparel brand D a good brand? I don't know. Retailer brand C gets the money. This is very eye-opening. Just to understand that cycle. And so, if you're being perceived as not having some sort of aligning to a cause, not being the nicey person in these times, it might go sort of against you. And if you do, which is highly encouraged, it will definitely help you. So to wrap this up, 5 things you can start doing right now. We believe these insights will endure to shape 2021, and that understanding them will provide marketers with opportunities to better meet consumer needs. The first thing marketers need to do is infuse data-driven thinking in all steps of their marketing. What else can you do to set your company up for sustained success in 2021 and beyond? Again, very important to listen to Google because they have all the answers. We put all our searches in there. All the insights are in there. So first, embrace agility over certainty. Planning and building responsive teams that enable quick pivots when necessary, can ensure that marketers are nimble and ready for whatever comes their way. We're uncertain times. So that's very important. Next one is provide consumers with a seamless personal digital experience. For companies that aren't already doing so, it's time to invest in ways to deliver seamless and personal digital experiences to consumers. We know that doing so results in positive business outcomes. We are in a digital world right now. And honestly, Google is just a customer service tool that works just how anyone would want to work, just like how 401 would want to work back in the day. You want to give who asks you great information so you can come back and always be asking. That's all. And so it all boils down at the end of the day to content. A digital experience that's seamless. The baseline for that is good content, good content, good strategy that connects the content, and presents the emotional and functional benefit. So next one, boost consumer confidence. We are still far from back to normal. For many people, a level of uncertainty or fatigue will likely persist in this new year. Marketers should find ways to reassure and remind people that their businesses are getting the basics right. Think product availability and appropriate safety measures. But beyond the basics, marketers should strive to help people feel like they're reestablishing some semblance of control over their lives and that they're thriving rather than simply surviving. Market with purpose, whether it's marketing that better reflects diversity or the causes your company aligns with. People increasingly expect brands to actively contribute towards the betterment of a society as a whole. Moving forward, a brand's actions will become an increasingly important driver of choice and loyalty. Understand the balance between new and old behaviors. Continue to monitor how consumers are balancing between their pre-pandemic routines and the new behaviors they developed as a result of the unprecedented nature of 2020. Encourage the choices you want consumers to make by appealing to their new context and designing new cues and rewards for them to think of your products and services. And there you have it. Great insights from Google. Great insights that you can take advantage of as a business. Great insights that you could take advantage of to start a business. Great insights you could take advantage of to market. Great insights you could take advantage of ultimately to help and provide value in these uncertain times. To actually make it better for other people. You know, providing products and providing services is to provide value that helps people at the end of the day. Hope this helps. Hope you have a great 2021, and thanks much to Google for these insights. Take care.